Christina Wallis, and today I'm going to look at 5 main problem areas which I notice at beginners flowers in those people who work with gum paste as well as clay actually. So let's get started. So the first problem is, of course, the petals, which are too thick, and I understand why people would want to keep them a little bit thicker. Sometimes it's just for wiring purposes. However, the way to get around it is to sometimes wire your petals first and then thin the edges as much as you can before you actually put it through the veiner. And actually, if you thin the very ends of petals while leaving the base and the middle quite thick for your wiring and also for your veining, it will still give it that very delicate result if you look at it afterwards. And if you look at the description, you will see my tutorials. I go in a lot of detail on how to thin your petals in each and every one of my flower tutorials, so have a look. I guess thin petals is one of my pet projects, and now I probably have them thinner than I should, especially with cold porcelain, because with very thin petals it's harder to see the texture. You don't get the same problem with gum paste, and even thin petals in gum paste, if you use Nicholas Lodge's self-made paste, which I do when I work with gum paste, they don't tend to break all that easily. That may not apply to other gum pastes, but yeah, if you want very realistic looking flowers, thin petals is a must. I really do believe so, unless you work with something like magnolia, etc., where thin petals are not necessarily the must, but that's a different matter altogether. So the other problem is veiners. Now the veiners that you use, they need to be lifelike. Sometimes it's an investment. For example, if you use a lot of the same veiner, it might be an idea to get a good one. And for example, rose, for commercial work, rose is a must. And my favorite one is by Sugar Art Studio, and also Robert Hines has a very nice one in his range as well. It's a bit bigger. As to other flowers, you could obviously pick and mix. It doesn't have to be expensive, but you just need to look out for the sizing, how clearly you could see the pattern, so it needs to be a good picture and it needs to be a nice shape. And another thing, you could always try making your own veiners. It's a lot cheaper to just buy a 2-part patty on eBay and have a little play with it. I find that self-made veiners for foliage, they're very easy to make. Not going to look pretty, but they are reasonably easy to make, and then you won't have to pay out huge amounts of money for good quality veiners out there. So the third one, not as easily fixed, it's dusting your petals incorrectly. Now I find that dusting skill comes after a while with experience, or at least it never came naturally to me. But the main thing to look out for is to start with lighter color and go in layers to darker and not the other way around. So dilute your dust with corn flour or white dust and go for it. Apply very thin layers and work really carefully, because it's a lot harder to undo the dark color than to add it gradually. It takes more time, but it's totally worth it in my opinion. Also, in nature, I find that most petals, they tend to get the most sunlight to the middle of them and the least sunlight on the edges, including the top edge. So and the bottom side tends to be the darkest one. So it's probably a good idea to follow that kind of a pattern, because that is what we used to associate with beautiful lifelike flowers, and so it's worth, in my opinion, to try and repeat that kind of a thing, even if you don't follow the botanical correctness. I certainly don't, but I tend to follow the main natural pattern for my dusting. Take your time getting used to the right way of doing it, experimenting, but finally get into the right way and then following it through, because it really does pay back the small details of your flowers. People tend to keep their flowers a little bit flat, you know, like big flat flowers like plates. And some of the natural flowers, they are flat. For example, dahlias, some of them are incredibly flat, and sometimes I look at them and I think, oh, it almost looks like someone made it. But no, if it's naturally flat, that's fine and you're repeating it. But making all flowers flat, because that's how you find that it's easy and it looks nice from the top, personally I think that it limits you to looking a little bit like a beginner, or maybe someone who makes stylized flowers. If you want to make your flowers looking lifelike, perhaps it's not always easy, but it's worth trying to figure out or learning how to make them kind of in cup shape. One example of it could be David Austin's rose. Many people make it flat and plate-like, and it looks okay from the top, but all in all, I think, in my opinion, it looks a little bit amateurish. David Austin's, it does show off its attributes, its main signature look the best when it's nice and deep. Although in nature, yes, there are some David Austins that are very flat, but they tend to have very, very puffy, very thin petals. So if you keep it flat, have a reason for that, accentuate on something else. And finally, but still very importantly, there is this thing where you spend a lot of time making beautiful flowers, and sometimes you look at them and you think, well, the flower itself is beautiful, incredible. However, the way the picture has been taken in the evening light, probably somewhere in the bathroom or I don't know, in the kitchen with a normal light, it just does it no favors whatsoever. You know, when we look at this flower ourselves in the evening, our clever, incredibly wise and resourceful human eye compensates for all of it, and we still see it how it is. But if we take a picture of it in the evening light, all of a sudden you see all the kind of imperfections, and all of those imperfections, they are not all of them even imperfections, but some normal things like dusting is being made very unattractive by the harsh light. So if you take pictures of the flowers that you've taken a long time to make, do yourself a favor, take them at the daylight by the window, maybe on a plain background. It would look so much better, and it would be fairer to your beautiful flower. Or if you have taken it in evening light, perhaps use filters, use the correctors, give it some justice. In all fairness, this problem does crop up less and less because times have moved on, but it still does persist, so that's something that is worth paying attention to. What do you think gives away someone as a beginner flower maker? Drop me a comment in the comments below, and I will see you next week with a new tutorial or maybe another video like this. This is Christina Wallace. Have a lovely week.